Okay, Lady Death is the 2004 full-length animated feature that's about the character of Lady Death, who was really popular in the mid-90s. It was primarily kind of more of a cheesecakey sort of character, but was drawn, very, very, very well. It was normally a lot more violent, so kind of really helped during the rise of comics like Image, where you had a lot more in the way of a beautifully drawn comic that was very violent, but kind of light on substance. That had been said, of course, it wasn't Image Comics, I think it was Chaos, I want to say. Or, well, yeah, I currently am seeing under Chaos. So, well, no, actually, originally Eternity, then it became Chaos. I've got a page up so I can kind of figure out, in case I make mistakes here and there, on the background of the character. Because I used to read Lady Death a little bit. Kind of on the cheesecakey side. She was popular during the time when you had, like, lingerie issues that came out and swimsuit issues. So, someone who was primarily more of a look and less of a substance. Even though the background for this character was actually pretty solid. She is the daughter of Lucifer, and in some incarnations she was also, at the exact same time, her mother was an angel. So you normally got to have that nice sort of religious undertones of, heaven versus hell at the same time. Now for the cartoon, Lady Death has a character known as Hope. Hope is essentially burned at the stake because they find out her father is Lucifer. At the same time, she finds out, and all the townspeople are like, "You're a witch, renounce yourself and die, or we're going to kill you." Which was pretty standard when it came to burning witches at the stake. So that having been said, she then kind of makes a plea, and then essentially is banished to hell, where her father Lucifer is at. And Lucifer, of course, is a gigantic, massive red creature with huge horns and a goatee, who is surrounded by pseudo-lizard lesbians that are kind of like vampires. So the bulk of this movie essentially is Lady Death going from the transition of being Hope to being Lady Death, and then leading her army of Hellspawn against Lucifer's army of Hellspawn. Along the way, meeting with the Cremator, getting herself a more powerful sword, and then using said more powerful sword to attack Lucifer. As I was watching it, it's a 2004, so we're talking it's like 7 years old at the time I'm shooting this video, and it seems really, really dated. As I'm watching, my first thought was, man, I'd rather see instead of this, I wish somebody would have taken more of the Spawn cartoon from HBO and did like a larger version of that. Because you get a decent amount of the way of kind of like blood and violence to it, but it's always that weird, almost like kind of cartoonish violence where, Cremator's using a giant hammer and he's hitting people, it's like, spray of blood. And the plot just seems like it should not have taken an hour and 20 minutes. It is a character's origin story, and then her fighting Lucifer. It seems that should have easily have been like an hour, maybe hour and 5 tops. And there are scenes that just seem to kind of just drag out for almost no reason. She was an interesting character. I've tried to get into her on several occasions, just to try to get into the character more, and it's, some issues were written like beautifully well. And the dialogue that she had while she was fighting her father Lucifer came off really, really strong. And in this one, I think one of the lines that I heard was someone say something like, "You cannot defeat that which is unbeatable." And those lines kind of come off kind of hokey. You can tell that the feeling was trying for this huge, like, epic sort of fantasy. And at the end of the day, it kind of just falls flat. So it's interesting to watch. I still, for the life of me, will never understand why anybody would fight the forces of hell essentially in like little more than like a bikini and really long gloves. I can understand why this movie is probably one of the poor animated feature films.